Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome back to Tenerife, where it's a transfer window special. You may recall our transfer budget for this season was £11 million. Yes, after all the things that we won last season, £11 million. I might have spent a little bit more than that. I'll explain how after the intro. I'll start with the outbounds and I'll try and get through these as quickly as possible because there's a lot of transfers to get through. £500,000 for Rodrigo. He was here for half a season, won a La Liga and a Champions League medal. You're welcome. Bought him in for £1 million, filled a homegrown nation position for the remainder of that season, and off he goes again at the end because we've dealt with homegrown nation now. Same kind of deal with the Moreno. Came in as a homegrown nation player, leaves now that we've got better homegrown nation players. I don't think he was ever as bad as his start rating said he is. His performance was good. Didn't play all that often. But £2.2 million off to the second tier of Germany. He's better than that, I think, but off to the second tier of Germany he goes. £2.8 million up front for Hector Herrera, who's 34 and was in his last year of his contract. So would have gone on a free at the end of this season anyway. I'd rather get some money for him. A Mexican team came in for him first, so I thought, that's nice and poetic. He's gone back to his home country for his twilight career. So off he goes. He's actually not bad. He could have played for us fairly easily. But I thought we were going to get Condogba in on a free transfer to replace him as a backup Segundo Volante. He went to Sevilla. We're fine in that department, though. But Herrera, thank you for your service. Really the first big name we got through the doors. Thank you for your time here. Enjoy your time back in Mexico, basically. Nothing but good things to say about Hector. Sekou Koita, again, played quite well for us. Bought him for $8.25 million. He's been sold for $11.25. Considering his value was 24, this is more a sale of necessity because he just wasn't going to play. Bruno Alves has taken his position as second choice striker, and we brought in a new third choice striker, so Koita just didn't really have a position here anymore. I think Fiorentina got a good deal. He's worth a little bit more there. Even there, he's worth a little bit more, so they've got a good deal, but $11.25 million. This happened on deadline day. I'll take it. Umtiti was a transfer that took all transfer window to sort out. He wanted a new contract at the end of last season. Despite the fact he'd only signed for us the previous summer, he wanted a new contract. I offered him a contract as a squad player. He didn't like that. Therefore, I tried to sell him. Sevilla came in for him eventually. It took about 2 months for it to happen. Just over £20 million they offered. I thought, sod it, I'll take it at that point. That's decent value. He's worth 35, I should say, with us. He rejected Sevilla. About a week later, I finally got Napoli interested. £27.5 million they offered. 5 overtime is what I got it to. He's worth way less there. I don't know why, but considering his value there, I'm happy with it. Considering his value here, it's a little bit cut price maybe, but off you go, Samuel. Thank you for your time here, but you annoy me. Off you go. And then someone who absolutely did annoy me. You can blame Spanish release fees for this one. So the story of Alex Merritt is this. Bayern Munich came in a couple of times and got reasonably close to his release fee. He had no interest in joining Bayern Munich, which is nice. Thank you, Alex. Inter Milan did the same thing. Got a little bit closer to his release fee. Still had no interest in Inter Milan either. Inter Milan triggered the release fee of £60 million. I thought we're still okay here. He has no interest in joining Inter Milan, so he'll just reject that contract. And then PSG triggered the release fee of £60 million as well. And that was that. £60 million off Alex Merritt went. He's on £145,000 a week here. I didn't even try and offer him a contract because I knew people were interested, but he had no interest in joining them. I thought we're probably all right as things stand. And then as soon as PSG came in, that was that. If I had to try and offer him a contract to combat the PSG contract, then I would have had to pay him basically the same thing, which seemed a lot of the time because the new highest, whilst we did have a new highest earning player at that point, 145k, was still way higher than that. Obviously, I didn't know that's what PSG had offered him, but I presumed it was insane because it was PSG. So I didn't bother. I thought we might still be all right. He might just reject them as well because he had no interest in joining the other two. But he's gone. £60 million. And it's not as bad as it first looks as well because once the initial angle is settled that he'd gone, we have Christian Christensen, who's developing and he's basically almost as good as Merritt already. Steps right into that first team role. And if Christensen is no longer the backup, it means we can get a Spanish backup, and that means we don't have to have as many homegrown nation players in the outfield. I have got a homegrown nation backup now, and that's worked out lovely. So as annoying as this is, there are pros to this. There are pros to this as well. Also, amusingly, he's conceded more than 1 goal a game in league somehow. Should also briefly mention, Molina's gone out on loan, as has Gary. Gary has a conditional permanent transfer deal involved in this loan deal with Porto as well. If he plays 20 times, he's off for a grand total of 21 million, which I think is decent, considering they're paying me for the loan and then there may be a permanent £21 million transfer at the end of it. I think that's not bad. He's absolutely not needed this year. For the inbounds, we'll start with Mauro Icardi, who was the striker I was talking about at the end of last year. Homegrown Spanish, which, like I say, fills that role, which is why we didn't need players like Rodrigo or Moreno anymore. Homegrown Spanish was 4.5 star when we signed him. I think signings following that have bumped him down a little bit. He's absolutely not a pressing forward with what we play. This is literally his worst one on the list of roles. Yet, we played 4 league games, he scored 6 goals. His physicals are just shy of being good or great. The rest of it, mentals-wise, the Bobo's mentals aren't great. This sort of teamwork, work rate part of it aren't great. But anticipation, composure, the off-ball, the sort of the striking intent mentals, they're great, as are his actual technicals as well. And he's scoring goals, so I can't argue with it. £9 a week seemed a lot of the time, but I thought, homegrown nation is kind of worth it. 31 years old, he's here for a few years. Whilst Bruno Alves develops into his full form, Icardi will be first choice. I'm just doing these in order of signing. A lot of these were dealt with before the transfer window opened. Cardos is one of them. £5 million from Romanian team Craiova. Midfielder backup, determination 18, work rate 17. That was why I was interested. Determined as a personality is a little annoying because it doesn't tell me anything. But physicals, shy of being great. Mentals, just shy of being great apart from those two, of course. And then technicals, just shy of being good. Equal passing and tackling of 11 means you can sort of develop him either way as a centre midfielder or a Segundo Volante. You know which one I'm doing. He is third choice. He's 2.5 star. Basically takes over the role that Herrera left, although he has long shots at 10, which is great for a Segundo Volante, actually, and shoots from distance. He's fifth choice there. He'll play when absolutely needed. Strong on either foot as well, quite nice. 6 foot, can actually fill in central defence in an absolute emergency as well. And then perhaps one of my favourite names, Matthew Picard. If he ever becomes captain, I will enjoy that very much. But Picard, very much part of the next generation. Great physicals, great mentals, great technicals. He's 19. He's come from FCSM, better known as Sochaux. And they've been relegated to the 3rd tier. He was playing in the 2nd tier this entire time. This was the transfer that told me where we stand in world football at this point, because a few of the challenging for Europe kind of teams in the Premier League and elsewhere in Europe went in for him. And I thought, you know what, let's have a go at this. We offered them slightly more money, just guaranteed, with nothing extra, no bonuses whatsoever. All the other teams offered bonuses, which presumably would have brought their total higher than ours. They accepted our £8 million all told, and he decided to come here on a squad player contract. We're 9th in the world now, reputation-wise, and this was the transfer that told me. Because he is really good. I don't know how he's been playing in the 2nd tier of France this entire time and not been snatched up. He's actually playing central defence for me, because that's what he is. Let's be honest, he's 6'4". He can fill in the Segundo Volante roles, but he's terrible finishing-wise, thereabouts. But 6'4", central defender, top end of those mentals can be improved slightly, so we'll take it. Aggression 14 is not bad. Anticipation 15 is quite good. Bravery 14 is not bad either. Like, none of the mentals are bad. I don't really like aggression to be super high because that causes problems sometimes. So that's sort of a nice level of mentals there. The determination, things that can be improved upon can be improved upon. He's 19, he's only going to get better anyway. Krasko we picked up on a free. He's got injured, which isn't great. He's playing back up to Zukic. He's agreed to be a squad player. Squad player wages. Absolutely fine. If he hadn't got injured, though, I think the injury slightly killed off some of his better attributes as well, which is slightly annoying. We didn't have another right-footed player to play in that position. He's going to be playing back up to Zukic, basically. We loaned Santi Ramos Mingo in from Barcelona to fill in the void that Umtiti left, because left-footed, he's going to be my left-footed backup central defender. Just very well-rounded. He's very well-rounded in being shy of great. 15, 14, 14, a lot of 15s, a lot of 14s. Just a few off being great in almost every area. We've raided Coruña for 2 players. One of them was their goalkeeper, who I later found out was actually homegrown club, not just homegrown nation. So that's worked out in our registration's favour. Backup goalkeeper, Carlos Abad. Is Carlos actually quite a good? Mayorga is the promising young striker. He's got under 19 caps. His release fee was £11.5 million at Coruña. That, with his scouted potential ability, was enough to make me think he's probably actually going to be something. And the fact he's 16 means we can make him homegrown club here, over time as well, not just Homegrown Nation. Right now, he's not great. The physicals need to be better. The mentals are actually quite good. There's a few of those on 15, but they can be improved. And his technicals, he has 4 technicals on 15 already. The rest just need sort of bringing up a bit as well. Things like passing need to be improved a bit, obviously. Dribbling as well can be improved a little bit. But as a pressing forward, just get those physicals and sort of some of these lacking mentals up on his pressing forward game. He's 16. 16. And then the big bucks. 2 big money signings, the first of which is Hugo Merckx from Anderlecht. His release fee was triggered by Ajax, of all people, and I didn't have the money at the time, and then the merit situation happened. So I had £60 million. I was just sitting on £60 million. And I thought, sod it, we'll trigger it as well. He's playing inverted winger on the right-hand side, which is why we allowed Gary to move on. And he's really good. 19 years old, worth 50 million on 70 grand a week, which is a lot for a 19-year-old, but fine, I guess. 19 acceleration, a lot of other great attributes. Determination's quite high as well already. Composure's great. Dribbling, first touch, crossing, finishing, all great. Inverted winger, can fill in as a striker if absolutely necessary. Not really a pressing forward, because the top end of his mentals, bravery, aggression-wise, anticipation aren't worth it, but could fill in there in an absolute pinch. £40 million is a lot of money, but so far, he's played 3 games, got 1 goal. He had 23 goals in 32. I can only assume they were playing him as a striker. And then the deadline day madness is come in the form of Federico Valverde. There were a few players asking to leave Real Madrid because they didn't get Champions League football. So I thought I'd relieve them of Federico Valverde, who is a 4.5-star Segundo Volante. Yes, this is a bit of a madness, but there are a few options. He is homegrown. He counts as homegrown nation, which was key. I was tempted to relieve Napoli of Fabian, but Fabian's 2 years older, slightly worse. Yes, he would have been slightly cheaper. Yes, he would have required less wages. But in Valverde's case, I'm relieving a rival of one of their best players, and he's a better Segundo Volante overall. And if I'm going to be best in the world, I don't know how many more seasons this is going to take to get there, because we're 9th already. Why not get a world-class player in? Just why not? They don't all have to be wonder kids. He's 26. He's not even into his prime yet, technically, because that's 28 to 30, isn't it? Something like that. So he's just moving into his prime period now. What do I say? Valverde and Ravella, who's here permanently now, are my starting DMs. And that's not all, because right now we're just going to do the opening Champions League group game against Roma. We've got Tottenham, so we will be playing Sotalo at some point, and a Cypriot side in the form of Apoel. Nice to see the Cypriots in the Champions League group stages. I was really rooting for them. I actually don't know what the other groups are like for the Spanish teams. I can see Getafe have got this one. I know Barcelona's group was easy because that was in the press conference. Salzburg, Benfica, Celtic in theirs, and Betis got PSG, Dortmund, and Zenit. Good chance for Betis to be third in that group, I think, though. Although Getafe have got a fight on their hands, I think. We actually have the Canary Island derby after this match. I'm not doing it now because it happens again later in the season, next to our Barcelona game. So we'll be doing that later in the season. So we're going to be playing my first choice team here, there or thereabouts, because we've had a slight issue at left back. After moving Alberto Moreno on for, not needing him, we've had an issue at left back. Lodi's got injured, and then Obregon got injured. Because what I'm doing this season is I'm training Obregon to be a left back because he is left-footed. Annoying. But yeah, so I'm training Obregon to be a left back, and I'm training Harwood to be a centre back because I think that's what he is. Because of that lack of crossing, realistically, he's got decent dribbling, decent finishing, but his work rate's not really high enough either to be a complete wing back. You can see there's some major holes. Off the ball's not great, and I just don't think his technicals are good enough for a fullback, particularly attacking-minded fullback. He's a great no-nonsense fullback, but great no-nonsense fullbacks basically just mean they're actually a centre-back. And I think his technicals are good enough to be a ball-playing centre-back. They're just not good enough to be a full-back, if that makes sense. He's 6'1", so he's not short either. So Harwood is my first choice left-sided defender. But because we have no other left-sided full-backs at the moment, he's playing actually left-back, which isn't a bad thing to have. Ramos Mingo, also left-footed, can do left-back, of course. Same kind of deal as Harwood, though, doesn't have the forward ability. Is also injured, so Harwood is literally the only person who can play out there. Picard's in centre-back, Quiros alongside him, of course. Hanus at right-back is the thing that's happened, and I've only ever played Hanus twice at Tenerife. I played Hanus once last year, he got a 7.1. I played Hanus twice this year, 1 star, 1 sub, 7.6 is his average rating. I can't not reward that, So he's starting this match. Christensen's in goal, of course. I told you he's basically as good as Merritt and only getting better. And of course, Ravella's here permanently as well, alongside Valverde. It's not a bad situation to be in. So Christensen, Harwood, Picard, Quiros, Hanus, Valverde, Ravella. Still weird saying Valverde. Faisal, not quite having the second season renaissance I thought he was going to be having, but Faisal starts still. I'm just determined to make him good. Zukic, Merks. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that, because that's a weird way to end a name. CKX, Merks, and Icardi up front. Oh, a tiny brief mention of Moisovsky. I'm going to go with Moy. He was one of those Villarreal releasees at the end of the season. Has potential. He's the fifth choice centre-back who can play across the back line. He's a very much utility man. He's more right-footed, so he can fill in right back if necessary. Can fill in DM if necessary. Just a two-star backup in all of those positions. Shaqiri didn't leave, by the way, either. I can't get rid of him. He's just taking up 35 grand a week. I can't get rid of him. He's not registered for anything. I haven't talked about how we've done in the league so far. We drew the first game against Villarreal, which was absolutely an FMing, and then we've won the rest. Drawn 1, won 3, 10 points puts us top of the table as things stand. Not really too much to talk about there, other than the fact that Cardi has 6 goals. Somehow within the first 4 minutes, Christensen's already on a 7.0. I don't know what he's done to do that, but I'm expecting it to be good. Roma coming forward now, though. Nkunku to Junior Firpo, who's recently joined someone in the Premier League. I'm not going crazy. Firpo's gone to the Premier League. I can't remember who for, though. Is it Leicester? I am recording this after the England game, by the way, so we'll talk about that briefly. I'll start by mentioning the penalty, of course. Yes, it's a soft penalty. Yes, we should have actually had a penalty though before that, so it works out. I actually do think the fact that he didn't give a penalty that was a penalty was the reason why he gave a penalty that probably wasn't a penalty. Strings and roundabouts. We didn't get one that we should have got, and we got one that we probably shouldn't have got. But then you've also got to remember that Denmark had a free kick that wasn't a free kick, which led to another free kick that wasn't a free kick, which led to the goal for them. So Faisal scored after saying he's not had a great start. He actually has scored already. The one thing I have noticed with Faisal is he's better at this now. He's better at being in that edge of the box Lampard role almost. He's better at being that midfielder that's following him in. Almost the role that Mason Mount played in the game yesterday, 2 days ago, when this goes out. Merck's on the ball again. Hanus, I just ended up at Hanus's feet instead. Valverde's turn to have a crack at things? No. Harwood to Zukic. The fact that everyone else is injured is really hampering his development at centre-back, but we take what we get. Oh, that was the end of that highlight. Okay. Hang on. Maricic plays for Lazio in real life, doesn't he? The fact he's at Roma now kind of indicates... Oh, no. He can't be getting good receptions. Well, it's not just the fact that they both play in Rome. They both play in the same damn stadium. Also, I have noticed the fact that we played at Wembley in an episode, and the next episode you see we're playing at the Olympico. We are following the England team at this point. It's the only two places England have played. Merckx pulls it back to Ravella. Ravella backheels it back to Merckx. Unnecessary flair there, I feel like. Harwood on the far side. Harwood puts the ball in. Merckx is free. I don't know how he got free, but he's scored again. I can't remember if that will include his goals for Anderlecht already this season. I don't think it does. So I think it's 2 for us and whatever he scored at Anderlecht before that. But that is bizarre defending, really, because their 3 defenders focus on the 2 other players in the box, and Merckx just ends up completely free at the back post. But it's an assist for Harwood and an assist for Icardi. Faisal and Merckx, the goal scorers. Armada puts the ball in. Villa, oh, they've scored. Just had a bit of a lag there. I do apologise. But G Villa has got a goal for them. You can see it this time round. He's the only person to jump. Not great defending / goalkeeping. We are second best here, actually. It's not an amazing showing from either side in terms of the chances created, clearly, but they are having the better of it, technically. In case you're wondering, that isn't former Chelsea Oscar. That is current Lugano / Sevilla Oscar. I don't know whether that transfer is a real thing that's happened or not. Liverpool destroying Bayern Munich. Just bringing Kor and Antov on for Zukic and Ravella. Antov's in a weird position now. Okay, Merckx is a bit tired, so Callado's coming on. Fazel's going to whip this corner in. Icardi's there, makes it 3-1. 7 goals already. I feel like that's more than he scored for PSG in any given season so far. I mean, a lovely header from Icardi there. Yep, continue. I mean, Merckx is knackered, so get him off. Callado whips the ball. Well, I saw whips the ball into the box. That was an odd little ball. Harwood puts it in again. And he goes as far as Antov. Harwood's in all of the space. And all of the goal. Andy Harwood with the goal. Did say his finishing actually wasn't that bad. I think it was 11, wasn't it? It's just his crossing that lets him down, realistically, as a left-back. That's the only one that's actually quite bad. But his finishing there, 11, it's not bad. It's gone in the goal. And it's 4-1 all of a sudden. And we have taken the advantage. Oh, great. I'm not certain I actually have anyone left for left back. I mean, there's 50 seconds to go. I'm just going to play it without it. Andy Howard is the best performer. Yeah, he doesn't exist anymore. Doesn't even appear as technically as a sub. I mean, good win 4-1. Away from home at Roma. That sends a message. A lot of big wins, though. Liverpool 4-0. Lille 6-2 against AEK Athens. Yeah, Athens. Tottenham 6-0. Kind of expected against Apoel, if I'm honest. It's nice to see them, but they're not going to do well. 3-4. Damaged kneecap? How are my other left backs doing? Olodi's basically back, so thank God for that. So in terms of when I bring you back, I'm actually just going to bring you back for the last Champions League group game against Spurs, and then Real Madrid follows it. So we'll see what the situation is in the league and the Champions League. I fully expect to be sorted by that point. We've just been Roma away from home, so I'm expecting wins against both Apoel legs and the home leg of Roma. So we should be through by the time we play Spurs, but it would be remiss of me not to show you Spurs because I think Sotalo's still there. And of course, he played for us for a very long time. So he's playing a right back, apparently, but he's there. So I'll bring you back for Spurs and Real Madrid. It's a double header of big games, basically. Super Cup, we're not really going to care about this time round. And like I say, Las Palmas is lined up against Barcelona as a post-January window episode. So they're likely going to be the next two games. Like I said at the end of last season, we're not going to be doing as many episodes per season anymore, which means we're going to get through these seasons a little bit quicker without anything specifically to focus on. I think the Club World Cup will be at the end of this season, so we'll be having a bit of a special set of episodes then, I imagine. So I'll see you next time for Spurs and Real Madrid. Until then, ta-ra. Ow.